love theme, right?
The towel. I'm spraying him down today in our Quicker Slicker Quick Drying Spray.
Ignore that. I had Snuffy on the background. I'm late. I'm late by 20 minutes. But it's fine. It's fine. I should do the tweet as well. Hang on. Da-ba-da-ba. Click. Just gonna repeat the same dumb message I do every time. Copy that. Click to tweet. All right. Put my big dumb face in it. All right. Alrighty, cool. That's out. What's my notification for? Oh, someone liked something I did. That's cool. I always like that. Oh, I still haven't broken 30 followers on Twitter, but you know what? It's because I haven't. This is my third stream in like 6 months, so. I also need to do this. I'll explain what we're doing in a bit. Why isn't my mouth tracking properly? Let me try moving my camera. Is that better? Hello? Why are we not? Hello? Ah. Ah. Hello? Hello? Are we working now? We are not working. Hang on, I think I might need to. Are we good? Are we good now? Are we good? I don't know why the mouth isn't working. I've changed nothing. Oh. Oh well. Yes. A tiny bit of work. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Oh, shit. Fuck. Alrighty. What are we doing today? Alright, so what we are working on right now, it bothers me so much that the mouth is not working on this. Oh, yeah, fuck my music. There we go. Alright. So, what am I doing today? I need to set up capture because I literally just came in and started. Where is window capture? Oh, yeah. I have reasons for. just go. You'll see why I'm doing this in a second. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So basically, oh, not doing the full window. All right, that's fine by me. Yeah, I just didn't want to look at my I didn't want to show off my Google account. Anyway, so I'm not controlling it through that screen. I was about to move that shit through OBS. Now, what I need to do now is change my stream info. And we get rid of that. We'll put it as Dungeons and Dragons because, yeah. And, there we go. Oh, there we go. Alrighty. We'll close that down. This is probably going to be the least intense, like, on my machine, anyway, that I've ever done. Why doesn't the mouth work? Ah. I should keep that tab open as well, just so I can track. Oh, 4 viewers, hello. I'm not used to having people here. Alrighty. Oh, we'll shrink down this tab. So, yeah, so what I was thinking for today was, oh, don't worry, Sarge. This isn't for you. Yeah, so I just wanted to do some, it's not spoilers or anything. It's, I'm just doing like lore stuff, Sarge. Don't worry. Now, why isn't that chat shown? Where's... Okay, I don't know why things aren't showing up in this chat here. They should be. Like if I jump back to... Yeah, see there? He's talking there. Jesus, that is ugly. I didn't realize how bad that was. I've never had people talk in my chat before. This is all new. So... Yeah. So, yeah, I was thinking of just doing some D&D lore stuff. Just writing. I couldn't think of anything else to do today. You know, I was a bit late, and I didn't want to take the time to set up a game. And plus, I have shit to do in the morning tomorrow, so I'm not going to be up that long. But, you know, I still wanted to do this because I thought it'd be fun. Now, anyway, what I actually wanted to work on. So yeah, I was trying to think of doing like my own homebrew D&D stuff, but I couldn't think of anything for that. Not at the moment, anyway. I think I need to take more time to think about that kind of shit. So I was thinking of working instead on my Prime Earth timeline. I just want to double check. You can actually read everything. Who's texting me? Ooh, someone's following me. Hello. Oh, you actually can't read it. Alright, let me, sorry, I thought it would let me. The reason why I have this is, as I stated earlier, to block my Google account name. So no one can, double dog dox me. I don't know what that is. Window capture. Why can't I... Why can I not change the shape of my window capture? Why is it so big? Oh, it's because I locked it for some reason, because I'm a dumbass. Don't ask me what happened there. I have no fucking clue. Okay, that's cool. I like that setup. And therefore, I should also be able to turn off this. Well, I can turn it off because you can't, because this is going so well. Okay, so this requires a little bit of backstory. So, hello, Dill. I'm trying to shorten a tab, but it's not letting me. This is going so well. I can't believe like how well this is going. Alrighty, so a while ago, my friends and I, we did a campaign. I ran a campaign in Starfinder. We put in the setting of Guardians of the Galaxy for the MCU, and we had a lot of fun with that. And so they've always wanted to do a part 2. So that's what started me on this. It was initially like the part 2 would be a mixture of Marvel and DC, but then I started doing more and more shit. Namely, anything I could think of. So I have the full timeline here. And what I might do is either add some more timeline stuff or write some articles doing more world building, just so things can make sense for everyone and not just for me. So the timeline begins all the way back in the 19th century at 1839. Yeah. Basically, it starts with Arnis of Terminus crashing in the American Confederacy. This is Icon from Milestone Comics, when an alien that crashed in the Confederate States of America, and of course later on became Icon in the modern day. And then 30 years after that, Trek the Green Psycho Ranger attempts to release Queen Rita from her prison on Earth's moon. Now that is based on the Power Rangers comics by Boom Studios, in which the Ranger that did not appear in the TV series, the Green Psycho Ranger, attempted to break Rita out in the 19th century initially, but he was defeated by Zordon Alpha 5 due to their anti-air cannons. Nothing else happens there. Now we move into the 20th century, where we have the Union of Justice from Jupiter's Legacy gaining their powers on the mysterious island in the wake of the Wall Street crash. And then, 8 years after that, Dr. Abraham Erskine defects from Project Nietzsche to start Project Rebirth in the States. This is the scientist that made Captain America's super soldier formula, defecting from the Nazi Hydra project and instead moving over to the States to make their super soldier. Don't know why he would do that. And then, so in the comics, one of the identities of Hydra as like a secret society was as the Thule Society. So then I'm having in 1941, it was Baron von Strucker who reformed the Thule Society into what would become the modern idea of Hydra. I don't know why. I was reading up on like Hydra's history. It is fucking dumb in the comics. Okay? It goes all the way back to when the Celestials visited Earth. No, it goes back to when, I'm trying to remember. It's the Nazi ideal of like the Ubermensch comes from like Kree soldiers. I hate it, and it goes back that far, and it's like it's multiple societies. Oh, I have 6 viewers. Hello. So yeah, Baron von Strucker reforms the Thule Society. Then in 1942, there's a slight change in history. In the MCU history, of course, Captain America defeated Hydra as the only enhanced superhero. But in this setting, it also includes the Justice Society of America. So Captain America fights alongside Dr. Fate, Hourman, Spectre, Sandman, Sandy Hawkins, Atom. That should be Atom Smasher. Original Flash and Original Green Lantern. Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Johnny Thunder, and the Thunderbolt, of course. Wildcat, Star Spangled Kid, Stripe, Dr. Midnight, Starman, Mr. Terrific, and Wonder Woman. Yeah. So basically, I just looked up a list of every single member of the Justice Society and then threw in Wonder Woman as well because she also fights the Nazis in her film. That's set in World War One, right? It doesn't matter. And in the midst of all this, Red Skull, instead of using the Cosmic Cube to attempt to unlock unlimited power, he instead states that he is searching for some kind of higher entity that exists out there somewhere in the universe. Then in 1943, Professor Thornton comes across a bunker beneath I believe it's a concentration camp, and begins the Weapon Plus program that would eventually become Weapon X. This is from the comics lore, of course. And then over here in 1944, Project Ragnarok attempts to bring the Beast to Earth. What this is in reference to is Hellboy. And this is the ritual performed by Rasputin in an attempt to bring their own ultimate destroyer to Earth to turn the tide of the war, but instead it brings baby Hellboy over to the Allies. I haven't done anything else with Hellboy, and I probably should have. Yeah, that's my mistake, but you know what? Fuck it. 1945, Captain America dies crashing Hydra's bomber into the ice. So yeah, that's what happened in the films. He crashes the bomber into the ice, and he quote-unquote dies. And as a result of this, as we saw in the TV series Agent Carter, the US government and newly formed S.H.I.E.L.D. is attempting to recreate Project Rebirth. However, this caused it to splinter off into numerous other programs. So, Weapon 2, with Captain America being Weapon 1, Weapon 2, Brute Force, begins experimenting on the human genome to create, I believe the character's name was just Brute Force. A year after that, Project Sentry begins to try and redesign the capabilities of Lego Super Soldier, right? Then 1948, Weapon 3 creates the Skinless Man to create the ultimate spy by taking Harry Pizer's mutant ability with his elastic and multi-sensory skin to allow him to shapeshift, and trying to use him as the perfect undercover operative. However, he succumbs to an extremely high variation of schizophrenia due to taking on too many identities and goes MIA. He is found 2 days later, a formless mass of flesh frozen in the Siberian wastes. Yeah. Theodore Sallis begins Weapon 4, Project Sulfur. With this, they find... Sorry. Yes, so this, I believe, is what created Man-Thing. So basically what was happening was that Professor Thornton was using Project Sulfur and testing it on prisoners of internment camps. From examples of history, I used the real world American Japanese internment camps because that seems feasible. That I don't doubt happened. But eventually, the prisoners turn on Sallis, and he is turned into the Man-Thing due to his own exposure to sulfur. 1952, S.H.I.E.L.D. is founded by Chester Phillips, Margaret Thatcher, and Howard Stark. That is how it happened in the MCU as well. With the loss of numerous metahuman soldiers, as well as the realization that figures as powerful as Adam Teth exist. I was supposed to include Black Adam earlier on. That's my own fault. The SSR reforms into the Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division. And it's formed not only to study metahuman development and the rise of the mutant gene, but also to design and construct weapons to combat both mystical and extraterrestrial threats. In 1959, S.H.I.E.L.D. discovers Grendel, the Grendel life form, and offers it to the Weapon Plus program. So, oh yeah, by the way, this is World Anvil. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. It's been like my #1 tool. I lost 2 viewers. That's fine. So, Fury, who is become... Oh yeah, Fury's father, because there's 2 Nick Furies in the comics now. They rewrote like the Fury origin to include both versions of Nick Fury. So Fury discovers a sentient alien life form capable of molding its body into a variety of shapes, resistant to bullets as well as capable of healing itself from any damage sustained. He transferred the ownership to Weapon Plus to begin Weapon 5 Grendel. But they find out that they can't do anything with it, so then they just lock it up in the Shield Black Vault. In 1962, where X-Men First Class takes place, Charles Xavier attempts to form the X-Men. We know that did not go very well. 1965, back to Jupiter's Legacy. After a battle that happened in the comics between Brainwave and Skyfox, the Union Justice, instead of just exiling Skyfox, they just straight up break up. And they vanish from the world. That solves a lot of problems where I don't have to use their abilities throughout the setting. Moving on to 1966, meth addict Robert Reynolds steals the Sentry formula. This is how Sentry is created. For those of you who don't know, he is a godlike character in Marvel Comics. Going well beyond like Superman levels or Gladiator. He was a character that was retroactively written into the storylines. A lot of what he is rough. But you know, I include him because I like torturing myself. So 1968, the Chrysalis Project, another extension of Super Soldier Project Rebirth. American, British, German, and Japanese scientists are gathered to recreate the super soldier serum that gave Captain America his powers. Now, you may not recognize Chrysalis from any comic because it's not from comics, it is from Star Trek. It is the program that gave Khan Noonien Singh his abilities. So I included that as well, because I hate myself. A year later, 1969, as what happened in the Boom Studio comics, you can't read that, let me move it up more. Trek, the Psycho Green Ranger, awakens on the moon and battles Zordon's Rangers, led by Red Ranger Grace Helen, I think it was. However, during that fight, 3 of the Rangers are killed, and the Pink Ranger notably falls off the Earth after suffocating in the vacuum of space. He crashes to Earth near Japan, where he is discovered by Japanese scientists involved in the Chrysalis Project. They would later defect to form the terrorist organization Shocker. I'll explain Shocker in a moment. It's only going to get dumber from here. Khan Noonien Singh is born in the year 1970. Not much I could say beyond that, besides he becomes a lot more important later. So, Japanese militants from the Imperial era formed the terrorist organization Shocker. And one of Shocker's cyborg soldiers defects to become the first Kamen Rider. There is Kamen Rider in this! So yeah, Shocker are the first antagonists of the first Kamen Rider series. And you must be thinking, well, having like one Kamen Rider is great. Yeah. Project 6 Power is what creates Luke Cage's abilities. I fucking did a lot of checking timelines to see where I could fit that shit in. Then, in seeing the rise of the Kamen Rider Vigilante in Japan, Weapon 7 focuses its design on cyborg enhancements. Oh yeah, important to mention, the Japanese militants that formed Shocker that also found the Pink Ranger are using the enhancements based on the Pink Ranger's design to create their own cyborg soldiers to match up to those capabilities. So, yeah, so in 1972 with Project 7, they're using Vietnam soldiers for their experiments, notably Sergeant Frank Simpson. However, he had been tapped as a super soldier from a young age. His platoon was comprised of sleeper agents designed to capture. Only one could bring him in alive, Lieutenant James Logan. Weapon 8 successfully pushes further innovation, notably in hypnosis and the creation of sleeper agents. That also becomes relevant later on, I believe, in this one with Mary Walker, with Typhoid Mary, and how they use the hypnosis to control her mutant abilities, which are different depending on which personality is in control of her mind at the time. And so, as Weapon 9, they're basically using the hypnosis to control which personality is available and how they can use it for whatever game they wish. So, it's 1973. Shiro Kazami is injured, battling Destron, the successor to Shocker, and is turned into the third Kamen Rider. If you want to know, the second Kamen Rider comes out of the same setting as Kamen Rider 1. So I just didn't think to add it. 1973, on January 27th, I got the exact date. Bolivar Trask is assassinated by mutant terrorist Mystique. This is the timeline in which the original X-Men timeline. So Trask is still assassinated, which means that Mystique's DNA was still captured to create Sentinel Mark 10s. Go into that later. 1974, Chrysalis Project is shut down officially. And then in the same year, William Stryker spearheads Weapon X Wolverine. So I wrote a shitload for this. Oh god, it's been a while since I looked at this shit. Okay. Thornton follows the advice of the mysterious Romulus, who lays out a plan to create the ultimate weapon. Romulus is the dumbest character I have seen in any comic, because he's literally, this dude fucking shows up out of fucking nowhere, alright? Nowhere. And he's like, Logan, I planned every moment of your life from the start. You know? And it's just, oh my god, it turns out that like everyone in Logan's life had been manipulated by Romulus to create like Weapon X, but then he just goes and creates Draken anyway. I don't know what I'm going to do with Romulus. I don't want to include too much in this, but I added him in because I wanted Thornton to be pushed to, you know, do Weapon 10 or Weapon X. So, having studied Logan's powers, Stryker believes that he is the prime candidate for Weapon X, Wolverine. While previous mutants had displayed a single power or multiple powers placed across different personas, Logan displays 3 unique powers that he can not only control at will, but will make him the ultimate soldier. The healing factor allows him to regrow entire limbs given enough time. Enhanced natural senses made the ultimate hunter, and the 3 claws on each hand. So the claws as well, creating his own weapon that can be hidden from anything. And then the final part was to coat his skeletal structure in either adamantium or vibranium, but vibranium was way too rare to use. So, so the healing factor would regenerate shallow wounds, and the adamantium skeleton would protect vital organs. And from that point on, they used Weapon X repeatedly for their own assignments, and he found out that his combination of powers made him not only the best candidate for Weapon X, but also the ultimate super soldier overall. 1974, we're going back to Japan, boys. Keitaro Jin transformed his dying son Kisuke into Kamen Rider X to defeat God. I don't know what God is, but damn, that's a cool acronym for your organization. Going further, fuck it. Daisuke Yamamoto's plane crashed in the Amazon. The last Incan elder grants him the GG armlet, becoming Kamen Rider Amazon to battle the Ten-Faced demon. Yeah, fuck me. 10-Faced demon Gorgos. Then we're going back to 1975. There's a lot of Kamen Rider. Goro Numasa infiltrates the organization Black Satan to avenge the death of his mentor, becomes Kamen Rider Stronger. 1976, back in America, S.H.I.E.L.D. creates Weapon 11 as an extension of Wolverine, codenamed Daken. 1979, captured by Neo Shocker. That's right, there's a fucking Neo Shocker. Dr. Keitaro Shido turns camper Hiroshi Tsubaka, Tsukuba, into Kamen Rider Skyrider. Kazuya Oki undergoes surgery for the International Space Development Program to become the first perfect astronaut taking the name in Kamen Rider Super 1. 1984, Robert Reynolds escapes a SHIELD facility. Do you guys remember Sentry? Well, he escaped, and then Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel, has to capture him. Their battle awakens Teletram 1. The fucking Autobots are there. 1985, the Smallville shower. Shit rains on Smallville. Then 1987, Kotaro Minami battles his stepbrother Nobuhiro Kizuki as Kamen Rider Black. 1987, the Star Tours company attempts to open on Earth, is immediately shut down by SHIELD. Intergalactic tourism company Star Tours attempts to open a branch on Earth. SHIELD immediately shuts it down. A map leading back to their home galaxy, Canes Visanti, Venetici, that's a stupid name, is left behind and locked in the Black Vault. Do you all know what Star Tours is, chat? Fucking Star Tours is the 1987 ride for Star Wars in Disneyland or Universal. It's one of the two. So the way that I'd want to just, add in a little tiny sprinkle of Star Wars was just to say that because in the actual lore for the Star Tours ride, it is literally a space tourism company that lands on Earth and offers rides and tourism to people of Earth, and I assume also for Earth to go to their main galaxy. So I literally just wrote down that Star Tours came to Earth and were immediately shut down in 87. So the Star Wars galaxy is out there somewhere. Where is it? I know, but I won't say it. 1988, after his Kingstone is destroyed, Kohataro Minami is flown into the sun. The radiation somehow transforms him into Kamen Rider Black RX. I don't know how that works, but it's a cool way to get a new power-up. 1985, do you guys remember Khan Noonien Singh I mentioned a while ago? Well, he formed the Great Khanate somewhere in the east. It's never specified. I don't know what race Khan is supposed to be. I assume Indian. However, he was played by Ricardo Montalban in brownface, so I gotta move my avatar because I keep leaning out of the shot. No, that's not what I want to move. I want to move me. That's me. I move here. Cool. Alright. Moving on from the Great Khanate. Sinestro of the Green Lantern Corps discovers the emotional power spectrum, and the Guardians imprison him for it. This is because he finds that there are power sources greater than the green energy of will that the Green Lanterns use. He finds fear, he finds out about rage, he finds out about compassion, and when he suggests to use these, the Guardians imprison him, noting sedition and possible what's the term? Treason. As they believe that, green energy is the only one that we can use. It is the safest, therefore we shall use it. We shall not use any others. 1992, the eugenics wars begin. This is another Star Trek thing. This is the war that broke out over the manipulation of human genomes that created super soldiers. This is essentially a large-scale war between the Western allies and Khan's Eastern allies. And then I think eventually also was the Eastern allies against Khan as well. This would have been the beginning foundations of the Econ, which I'll explain also in a bit. Then 1993, at the time where the original Power Rangers series took place, Zordon assembles a new team of Rangers. 1995, Colonel Danvers becomes Captain Marvel and travels with the Kree. 1996, the Zeo Rangers form under Zordon. 1996, Khan Noonien Singh, quote-unquote, dies in exile. This is essentially after the eugenics wars were ended and Khan was dethroned. Him and his superhuman brethren were put into cryosleep on starships and sent down to space in exile, and they were assumed dead until, of course, in the original Star Trek series, they were found by the Enterprise, and Khan caused a lot of problems. He had a movie, and then he somehow became white in the reboot films. The excuse that they used was that Khan had his like they had in the comics, based on that timeline, that Khan was originally Indian, or at least brown skinned, and then they made him white. Like they surgically made him white. I don't get it. Would you believe that I didn't know what I thought Khan was white for so long until I actually looked up his backstory and realized his name. I thought Khan was a fucking title or like some kind of space name. His name was fucking Khan Noonien Singh, and they're like, yeah, we'll just never cast an Indian dude. 1996, Thomas and Martha Wayne are fucking dead. 1996, the eugenics wars officially are ended. 1997, the Turbo Rangers formed to battle Divatox. In one of the weirdest Power Rangers movies I've ever seen, and I still own it on VHS. 1998, the power chamber is destroyed by Divatox. The Space Rangers battle Dark Spectre. Now, in Power Rangers canon, that is the original end of the like mainline story, because for the longest time, Power Rangers between seasons followed the same storyline. It was with the end of Power Rangers in Space. The Power Rangers series started to take place separately from each other. They had like small references here and there, but these original series were directly connected to one another. So this is where I'm having the Power Rangers end their time, because I don't feel like adding in all those Power Rangers like I did Kamen Riders. We're now in the 21st century with X-Men again. James Logan has joined the X-Men. I'm sure that can't go wrong in any capacity. Also in the year 2000, Yusuke Godai finds the Kuga Stone Belt and becomes Kamen Rider Kuga. 2001, Makoto Hikawa of the Science Police is given Kamen Rider G3 Power Suit, becoming Kamen Rider Agito. 2002, 2003, The Rider War. I'm pretty sure that's decade. Don't ask me how to work in that time shit. I'm not bothered. 2003, X-Men Last Stand has a slightly different ending. The mutant, instead of the really weird, like unclear ending of X-Men Last Stand, a Mutant Registration Act passes, which begins the slippery slope into creating a system by which mutants are pressured into getting the mutant cure that is available in the Last Stand film. And those that aren't are considered fugitives. So this essentially begins the decline of mutant action and the mutant population, specifically in North America. Then 2003, we're going back to Japan, boys, with Takumi Inui becoming Kamen Rider Phase to battle the Smart Brain Corporation. 2003, the Teen Titans form. Now, this is the Teen Titans from the Teen Titans animated series. Not Young Justice, the one... Yeah, the one that a lot of people know. So the lineup would have been Dick Grayson Robin, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire. And then, of course, expanding into Titans East. With the likes of Aqualad, Kid Flash, Jinx, and my boys Mas y Menos, who I don't think have appeared in anything. It's really sad. I like them a lot. They were cool. 2004, Soji Tendo takes up the mantle of Kamen Rider Kabuto to battle the aligned threat known as the Worms. That's supposed to be alien, but I'm dumb. 2004, Barry's origin. So this is Barry Allen. His origin is slightly different than that in the comics. So I actually was working on like a fucking article for it. I'll see if I can bring it up. That should switch over. Yes. Okay, cool. So, the change that I worked on was, so this is basically going to be Barry's article, which I may actually work on in this stream if I have enough time. It depends on how long it takes to explain the fucking timeline. It's been a half an hour already of doing this, taking away the 10 minutes it took me to actually fucking set up. So in this continuity, the reason why Zoom goes back, because in the original storyline, of course, Zoom goes back and kills Barry's father. Kills Barry's mother and imprisons his father in an attempt to damage his life. However, in this timeline, the Flash is still revered as a hero in the future. And as a result of that, of course, Eobard Thawne is obsessed with him. And in his obsession to become the Flash, he develops a dual personality. One is the more timid, is more honest towards Thawne's actual self, or at least the person he portrays, whilst there is a much darker half that is the cold, calculating, sociopathic side of Thawne. Hello, fifth viewer. So then it's this half that so Thawne has these two opposing personalities that are constantly battling for control over this speedster's body. And what Thawne wants to do in this timeline is only improve Flash's life, or at least improve the idea of the Flash superhero. So the reason why he goes back in time initially is because his plan is the Flash did so much good in his time. What if he became a superhero earlier? So Thawne goes back with the plan to kill Barry's parents in order to and also zap him with the lightning. Or no, his plan is to go back and zap Barry when he's younger so that he can be Flash at an earlier point in time. However, this backfires when he breaks into Barry's house mid-speed time, has an argument with himself and realizes he's fallen out of speed time, and is confronted by the Allen family. And almost immediately, he kills Barry's mother out of reaction. And this leads to, of course, the family panicking. So in an attempt to save himself and try to play off his own plan, Zoom grabs Barry Allen, runs off with him with the plan of when he runs fast enough, he will create enough Speed Force energy to zap the powers into Barry. And this works, and Barry gains a superhuman speed. However, his father is still blamed for the murder of his mother. And so Barry is on his own for a long period of time, wandering around America with this incredible superhuman speed, not knowing what to do with it. Meanwhile, Zoom either will return to his own time or he will stay in the present, constantly trying to either help or hurt the Flash, depending on what kind of mood he is in. So we'll close that tab. So that is the setup that I have for Barry in this. 2004, back in Japan, Kazuma Kinzaki and Sakuya Tachibana are recruited by the Board of Battle by Board, a group just called Board, to battle ancient undead as Kamen Rider Blade and Kamen Rider Garen. Yeah, and then in 2004, the same year, Ryotaro Nogami, possessed by an Imagine, boards the Den liner to battle threats across the timeline as Kamen Rider Den-O. 2004, Clark meets Barry Allen. So this Clark Kent takes place... Oh, 5 viewers. Wait, no, I already have 5. I thought I got a new one. 2004, Clark meets Barry Allen. This is essentially the Clark from the Smallville timeline. So he's going through all those experiences, and this is when he meets Barry Allen for the first time, who earlier on in our timeline had lost his family and had been wandering several years at this... Wait, it's the same year, isn't it? The same fucking year, never mind. Who'd been wandering around for several months on his own and learning how to control his speed. Clark is, of course, the eventual inspiration towards Barry taking up the life of a hero. 2005, Kamen Rider Hibiki battles the Makumo alongside his Oni teammates. 2005, the Pandora's box is retrieved from the first manned mission to Mars. The box opens and creates the Skywall, splitting Japan into 3 sections. This is an actual Kamen Rider season. I don't know how to put this into this lore, so I'm going to ignore it. So in 2005, the X-Men and the Brotherhood are officially declared gone. With the conclusions of X-Men The Last Stand, a number of Magneto's allies are either dead or depowered. And the X-Men... What happens with the X-Men is that with Jean Grey's huge display of power, the US government allied with Sword. The Sword? No. Yes, it is Sword. Work with Sword and Trask Industries to invade the X Mansion in an attempt to arrest everyone in there. They get a number of mutants and imprison them. Some get away. And that mansion officially becomes under the control of Trask and Sword. The reason why Sword is there is because they specialize in both outer space exploration, but also sentient weaponry, which of course Sentinels, which they have been developing more and more since Trask was assassinated back in the 70s. 2006, Clark meets the Martian Manhunter for the first time, as he did in Smallville. Except in this timeline, he doesn't lose his powers like he did in Smallville. 2006, Jason Todd is killed by the Joker. As a result of this, Batman pulls all funding for Teen Titans and the team goes under. So the Titans split off into their various activities. And then 2006, the Rogues Gallery villain group, which is Flash's villains, begin to take control of Central City. Kamen Rider Decade traversed the multiverse to prevent the timelines collapsing into one. I was wrong, it's not Rider War. 2008, as the city of Futo, Japan is terrorized by the spread of Gaia memories, Shotaro Hitari and the mysterious individual Philip become Kamen Rider W to battle the Sonozaki family. That is a season of Kamen Rider that I really want to see, only because the designs are so fucking cool. 2008, Iron Man officially debuts and Tony Stark announces who he is. Oh, we got 6 viewers. Hello, I'm describing my D&D setting that mixes a lot of things I like. I'm calling it Prime Earth. 2008, I'm going through all the Kamen Riders as well. 2008, Wataru Kurenai fulfills his destiny and becomes Kamen Rider Kiva to battle the spirits known as Fangirs. Fangirs? I don't watch Kamen Rider. 2009, the rumors of the Batman begin to flood Gotham's streets. Bruce Wayne is officially returned to Gotham and he has undertaken his identity of Batman. 2009, Kentaro Kisaragi becomes Kamen Rider Force to battle the Zodiarts. 2010, the Kogami Foundation approaches Eiji Hino to assist him in his fight against the Greed as Kamen Rider O. 2010, at the end of Smallville, Superman debuts in Metropolis. So he's essentially carrying that full backstory with him, just so we can have a nice developed Superman who would be prepared for the job of Superman. I'm using that specifically because the DCEU films are quite rough, and I didn't want to use that and have to work with that setting, because in my opinion, I don't think the Superman in that setting is developed enough to be like the identity of Superman. I think a Clark Kent who goes through 10 years of fighting various villains before becoming Superman is more suited for that role. 2010, the Yggdrasil Corporation transforms the city of Zawame into a Jokomachi, creating the Deet drivers and later Kamen Rider Gaim. I don't know if that's data or data. I didn't get water, so my throat really hurts. It's been nearly an hour of talking about this shit. 2011, Thor is banished from Asgard to Earth, and this is when humanity becomes aware of the Asgardians. 2011, after surviving the Phantom's ritual, Haruto Soma is tasked by the White Wizard to become Kamen Rider Wizard and defeat the Phantoms. That's also a season of Kamen Rider that I really want to see. It's such a cool design. 2011, Hal Jordan is given the Green Lantern ring by the dying Abin Sur. This Hal would of course go on to learn about Sinestro, his imprisonment, and the hypocrisy of the Guardians. 2011, Iron Man 2 happens. We fight Whiplash, who I found out recently that Whiplash, the dude who does like the yay, yay, yay with his whips, that dude's supposed to be Crimson fucking Dynamo. I've been wondering for years why none of the Iron Man villains in the films have ever been Crimson Dynamo. It's because they really just kind of like slipped him in a really dumb way. Yeah, so the inventor that like makes all the shit for Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2 is Crimson Dynamo, which is really weird because then you see his suit at the end of the film and it's not red, and he doesn't really look like Crimson Dynamo. Oh my god, I was so annoyed when I found that out because it's such a waste of an interesting character. And I don't mean Crimson Dynamo had like great development, but like they could have done more with that Russian inventor. Anyway, 2012, the Flash appears in Central City, officially debuting, and defeats the Rogues Gallery to take back Central City. In 2012, Stephen Lang, the former Secretary of Mutant Affairs, following Hank McCoy's resignation years earlier, opens... So, with the closure... so, when the mutants became officially wiped out and extinct... the Department for Mutant Affairs no longer needed to exist, so it was shut down some years after mutants were wiped out. However, in 2012, with the appearance of both Iron Man and Thor and various other enhanced individuals, Stephen Lang opens the Department of Superhuman Activities. This is essentially the Department of Mutant Affairs, but for superhumans. I think it's important to note that Stephen Lang also hates mutants, as he does in the comics. He's from the comics. And as a result, he hates anyone who is similar to them. And that extends to superpowered individuals or any kind of enhanced or vigilante. It's important to note, I think, how many times have I said that? So Lang's origin comes from the comics where he took over after Trask was killed. I'm pretty sure by his own Sentinels. And what Lang was responsible for was that he built the Sentinel-3 program, which were not designed to contain and track mutants, they were designed to kill them. So that's this guy. Yeah, it's great. 2012, Avengers happens. However, the lineup is slightly different. Alongside the traditional lineup, we also have Superman, Flash, and Green Lantern joining. This is because Superman is asked personally by Nick Fury, and because an alien invasion happens in New York, Superman can't turn away from that. Flash is young and eager, so he joins them. And Green Lantern, Hal Jordan joins. One, because he knows Flash, and secondly, because he believes this will help him with intergalactic threats, and also the Chitauri were an intergalactic threat. 2012, Tony Stark defeats Extremis. That's Iron Man 3. In 2012, Hal meets Sinestro officially, with Sinestro after having been locked up by the Guardians for discovering the wider emotional spectrum of power. Sinestro has formed his own Sinestro Core, which is built up of the yellow emotional power of fear. So this is where Hal and Sinestro meet for the first time and they battle. With, of course, Hal becoming the victor and Sinestro escaping into space. 2013, Jinosuke Tamari is demoted to the Special Investigations Division and becomes Kamen Rider Drive. 2013, Thor 2 happens, and it's really anticlimactic. 2013, due to the resurgence of enhanced humans, Trask Industries announces the beginning of the Sentinel Model X. So, I don't know if anyone... Wait, is that correct? That should be 2015, shouldn't it? Yeah, that's supposed to be 2015. Let me edit that. Let me edit that real quick. 2015, there we go. Yeah, sometimes this thing, if you just like move the mouse past it too quickly, it scrolls numbers, and that's a huge pain. Oh, okay. Gotta scroll all the way down to where we were. And... okay, so... 2014, Captain America Winter Soldier happens, where Cap defeats Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. is officially destroyed. 2015, the deceased Takeru Tenkuji is revived by an old hermit and transformed to Kamen Rider Ghost. Cool. We won't talk about Ghost. 2015, Age of Ultron happens, but a slight addition to the story is that Kamen college football star Victor Stone is infected by experimental Stark nanites and is turned into Cyborg. Because he's an important member of Justice League and I wanted to fit him in somewhere. He also officially joins the Avengers program. Who's texting me? No one, it's an email. 2015. So, due to the resurgence of enhanced humans, Trask Industries begins the Sentinel Model X. So, I don't know how many of you remember the Wolverine movie. You probably don't, it's bad. But what is important about that film is the post-credits scene. And it is Logan moving through an airport where he is confronted by Magneto and the revived Charles Xavier, warning him of a great danger coming. And one of the TVs in the airport is advertising Trask's development of technology. So this probably was going to lead into something else, but it ended up leading into Days of Future Past, in which the Sentinel Model 10s, using Mystique's DNA, led to the destruction of, I believe, North America and most likely Canada. But I don't know much about the rest of the world. Actually, no, it's the rest of the world as well, because they're based in Russia and China as well. So this is essentially where Trask begin their development of those model of Sentinel. And it's also when Magneto and Charles resurface to recruit Wolverine to rebuild essentially the X-Men team. In the same year, young Peter Parker is bitten by the radioactive spider. So yeah, after sneaking into a tour at Oscorp, Peter Parker is bitten by one of their genetically altered spiders. Oh god, Spider-Man makes this difficult. Excuse me. So I've been mixing and matching a lot of bullshit with this. Trying to build my ultimate, like, fiction timeline, because I have so much free time because I'm alone. I don't go outside. I am mixing... Well, I'm mixing 2 versions of Peter Parker. I was initially mixing 3, but I decided that it didn't work with what I wanted to do. So essentially, this is a mixture of Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland Spider-Man. So, so he's bitten by the spider in the way in which Andrew Garfield was. Also important to note, in April of that year, remember when I mentioned the Econ ages ago? The Econ is formed in response to the destruction of Sokovia. This is essentially an Eastern European nation was desolated by American-based superhumans. And no matter how much damage control or reconstruction that Stark's companies do, it doesn't make up for the fact that this happened and they had no way to defend themselves. And so, these Eastern countries, both Asian and Slavic, and also Middle Eastern, form the Eastern Coalition as a means to create a body of government that could hopefully defend itself from develop their own technologies to defend themselves, not only from superpowered threats, but also the actions of superhumans in their countries when they have none of their own. The Econ actually comes from Star Trek lore, and, you know, don't really have a set appearance date, like a formation date, but it's all born in the era of, like, the Red Scare, and yeah, we won't go into too much of it. This shit was written in the 60s and 70s. But I like the idea of creating a body of government to protect yourself from foreign superhumans, essentially illegally entering your territory and blowing it up, because they shouldn't be allowed to do that. So, in accordance with the Spider-Man film, we're back to this shit now. 2 months after Peter was bitten, that was when he fought the lizard. According to the official timeline on the Spider-Man fandom wiki. That's the kind of shit I researched for this. So he battles Kurt Connor's lizard, who's trying to turn everyone to lizards, and he beats him. 2015, the Titans reform as the Titans. Teen Titans reform as the Titans. With Nightwing, Starfire, Changeling, Raven, Cyborg, Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, Red Arrow, and Superboy. This is not in line with the Titans TV series. This is just a reformation for the Titans team because I like Titans. I'm getting lightheaded. Wow. It's been an hour and I've been doing this. I'm not even done. Emu Hojo undergoes surgery to use the Gamer Driver Belt to battle the Bugster computer viruses Kamen Rider X-Aid. 2016. Civil War. I didn't write anything for this. You know what happens. Civil War happens. Regardless, 2016. Spider-Man battles Vulture and Shocker. Or at least the first iteration of Shocker. Or, no, the first two iterations of Shocker. That's, of course, Homecoming. Now, of course, it doesn't happen the exact same way because Spider-Man would have been a bit slightly more experienced, but I want to include as many as I can. 2017, Sento Kiryu becomes Kamen Rider to defeat the Faust organization's rogue experiments. The Skywall is dismantled. 2017, Aquaman movie happens. But Mera looks different. 2017, wait, hang on. I thought I changed this shit. Hang on. Nope, okay. Ignore this. Yeah, this isn't relevant yet. Need to delete that. 2017. So, Calabac, seeing a weakened Earth, attempts to use Starro to invade Washington, D.C. And the first formation of the Justice League stop him. This is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Cyborg, and Martian Manhunter. They all form up on their own team and form the Justice League to defeat Calabac. This also doesn't happen. But Gustav Fiers is important. He's going to be the basis for forming the Sinister Six. Apparently there's novels, and that's where Fiers is from. He's not from any comic, and he appears at the end of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. 2018, Sugo Tokiwa becomes Kamen Rider Zio to protect the timeline from timejackers. I'm not including TVA in this shit. 2018, Black Panther movie happens, and it's awesome. Wakanda officially opens its borders, providing its vibranium technology to the rest of the world. 2018, the Black Lightning TV series happens, because that's actually a really good show. 2018, Infinity War. So, this is where the timeline strongly diverges from original MCU. So, the campaign this is initially based on with my friends, the basis of it was that the timeline changed after their four characters survived Thanos' invasion of Xandar. And this led to them accidentally stealing the Reality Stone from the Collector. So then when Thanos went to get it, it wasn't there. It also meant that he couldn't get it at the same time that he initially got it. So the plan changed. Vision's still dead. And Black Widow lives. So instead of... Sorry, I'm just... So... So initially in the films, Thanos acquired all stones and did his snap the moment he acquired the Time Stone. However, in this setting, the Time Stone was not the last stone he got. Instead, he had 4 stones. Power, mind, space, and fuck me, dude. What are the stones? I'm not gonna do this on tab just in case anyone can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna we're gonna switch over to here. We're gonna switch over to this tab so no one can see what see if there's any real name stuff on there. What are the fucking... Yeah, so we initially have space, mind, time, and power. The party has stolen soul and reality. So he so he fights them. The fight ends. I'll switch back now. The fight ends with Thanos losing. He physically loses the fight to them, with them still having the 2 stones. So he attempts to attack them by... Sorry, he attempts to grab victory from the jaws of defeat by holding 2 of the stones, by stealing 2 of the stones from them. No, what was it? Fuck me. It's been so long since I looked at this shit. Essentially, one of the party members was holding both the reality and the soul stone. Don't worry, the reason why they could hold them was because they were a machine. Hello, Quentin Quarantino, I see you. Remember, guys, no real names here. That's just my friends. So yeah, the machine character was holding 2 stones in his hand, so Thanos grabbed his wrist and snapped in an attempt to use all 6 stones to get what he wanted. However, since the gauntlet was incomplete, the snap resulted differently. Instead, Thanos was killed or calcified by the resulting cosmic energy. So he died there. And the stones, and what the gauntlet destroyed, the stones were captured by the party's ally, the Silver Surfer, who joined them officially after Galactus was knocked unconscious by the snap. And instead of eliminating all life, 50% of all life in the galaxy, instead it had a number of random effects. And this is what caused this crossover effect. So in the initial timeline, all these DC, all these Star Trek, Kamen Rider characters, they didn't exist. But when Thanos made that snap and broke the universe, these dimensions and these new occurrences were forced to appear, as well as a number of characters actually being killed. And some characters were actually dusted. This leads to a huge explosion of negative emotion in the galaxy, which is leading to something called entropy gaining more power. We'll explain that shit if we ever actually get into a campaign. So the snap didn't happen as it did. So all those characters didn't die. Well, some of them did end up dying. Notably, Barry Allen, Hal Jordan, and Arthur Curry are all dusted. I don't know who else has died. I might do the rest of the cast as well, but maybe not. So, 2018, Tony Stark and Nebula are brought back from Titan. A month after that, the Avengers compound is raided by General Ross, hoping to capture them for their crimes in the Soviet Accords debacle. 2018, at Christmas, Billy Batson is chosen by the Lightning Bolt to become Shazam. And that's the Shazam film. 2019, the Heat Corporation released their new android Huma Gears. Terrorists called that begin to hack them for their crimes, causing Heat CEO Aruto Hiden to become Kamen Rider 01. Then, who's texting me? Ooh, there's a Snuffy stream I gotta go to. That'll be fun after this. So, and then in response to... So, Ross has essentially begun a campaign to get rid of superhumans in North America and greater the world. So he begins the 50-State Initiative. Working with Iron Man, They are creating a metahuman registration act similar to the Mutant Registration Act, and all those who are not allied with the government and willingly give up all their personal details to be public information are treated as criminals and thought. Might also change this shit. I don't know. A number of people resist it. 2018, John Stewart becomes the Green Lantern to take up that spot. So Stark initially works with Ross on the 50 State Initiative. However, he refuses to give up the personal files of numerous superheroes and enhanced individuals that Stark has found over the years, because Ross will not guarantee the safety of Peter Parker. So, in order to protect Parker, Stark declines the offer. In return, Ross labels Stark a fugitive and orders his arrest. Tony escapes and then vanishes. 2019, Amazing Spider-Man 2 happens. But at a different pace. Gwen is killed halfway through the movie by Goblin, and Peter has to fight Electro and Goblin in a finale after spending more time away as Spider-Man. The Battle of Tonsberg. So, do you guys remember in Endgame when Thor formed New Asgard in Norway? So, essentially with this, Thor's depression or Thor's instability happened in a much different way in this timeline. So, while he did fail to kill Thanos, he did not avenge his brother, and Thanos vanished, so Thor never really recovered. And when he goes to Tonsberg in Norway, he becomes a much more strict king and is enforcing the sanctity of New Asgard as a sovereign nation under its own rule. This leads to Ross, after losing Stark, to recapture Thor with a much more aggressive attitude by attempting to invade Norway, or specifically New Asgard. They don't actually get into a fight, but Thor and Ross do. There is a clear threat that they will battle, but Ross decides to go against it because he knows that Thor will cause a lot more damage than him. 2019. So after mourning the death of Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man battles the Rhino and Scorpion and this essentially leads into a conspiracy where Peter learns that numerous criminals are being provided. Watch me never fail a history check again. Just, focus on your rolls. This is a bit of an inside joke, but E-Money, during our campaign, never rolled good. So, yeah, Peter uncovers this conspiracy where villains are being supplied with dangerous technology. And this leads him into Kingpin. This leads him into Norman Osborn, who has spectacularly come back. 2020, Stargirl forms the new Justice Society and defeats the Injustice Society. That is the Stargirl TV series. It is so fucking good. At least season 1 is really good. Season 2 is a little bit not as good, but it's still really good. 2020, that's right, we're not done with Kamen Rider. Toma Kamiyama inherits the title of Kamen Rider Saber. 2020, more Star Trek stuff. The UNSS Lewis and Clark launches as the first manned mission to Saturn. This is in response to the Econ. At least you can shoot something. Yeah, they also never shot anything either, Quentin. I have no idea why my chat is not showing up. I don't know. Fuck it. Yeah, Lewis and Clark was a ship that was launched in Star Trek because I believe the Econ had launched a manned mission to Mars. And so the Lewis and Clark was a manned mission to Saturn. 2020, Alan Scott and Jay Garrett re-emerge as their Green Lantern and Flash identities in order to help people out. In 2021, however, Wally West, former Kid Flash, becomes the Flash, officially taking on that title. 2021, Cult Deadmans steal the remains of the first devil gif, causing Igarashi to gain the Revice driver to become Kamen Rider Revice. I believe that has the last Kamen Rider we have, but I don't know that for certain. Endgame. I'm going to have to change that. Sam Wilson becomes the new Captain America. I'm just going to have Steve retire. Because I like Sam Wilson as Captain America. He's cool. In 2024, the Bell Riots end the Sanctuary Districts in America. So in Star Trek, the Sanctuary Districts were a response to, I believe, overpopulation and poverty. They were these sectors of cities where homeless could live. However, due to poor conditions, there was also numerous riots. I'm tying this into here because this will be in response to the destructions of New York and various other cities due to superhuman activity. 2025, Spider-Man PS4 happens. So I've always had a headcanon when playing Spider-Man PS4 that it's just an extension of the Amazing Spider-Man films because I love them. You know, you just have to change a few things when you look at it, like on the fact that Electro's white. But another thing also is that the MJ that I have in this setting is Zendaya. I prefer her as a Mary Jane. Looking back over like the past Spider-Man films, Kirsten Dunst did not have a good script. Am I hyped about the Moon Knight trailer? I am, though it's not coming out till 1 a.m. because it's going out with the same time as the NFL playoff on Monday in America. So we're not going to get until 1 in the morning. So I'll have to either watch it really late at night or watch it in the middle of class. So there's that. So yeah, with this, I prefer, like, Kirsten Dunst got a really raw deal as Mary Jane because in all three films, she's a damsel in distress and the climax always revolves around someone kidnapped her. And while those movies are great, I don't like that. I think it makes it difficult to differentiate them, if you get my meaning. Emma Stone was a good Gwen Stacy. She was a bit more active than Kirsten Dunst, but I still think that Zendaya as Michelle Jones was a much more active character and had much more personality than those two. You know, she did a lot in in Far From Home. She was quite active in that, and then in No Way Home, which I won't talk about, but she does have a more active role as a character. Moving on. Just League International is formed as an official organization, which has different rosters. Basically, it is a organization that acts outside of world governments, and it allows superheroes to ally themselves with the Justice League to be on call for emergencies. So the main roster is Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, Hawkwoman, Martian Manhunter, Cyborg, and Aquaman. The backup roster is Hawkman, Firestorm, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Green Arrow, Atom, Metamorpho, Chairwoman, Black Canary. Important to mention that in the JLA comics, she was the chairwoman of the Justice League. Very high-ranking member. Red Tornado and Zatanna. And then the task force was Captain Atom, Fire, Ice, Elongated Man, and Steel. And in 2025, General Ross begins the Squadron Initiative. This essentially, Ross wants his own superhero team that he can direct. So this creates the Squadron Supreme. He begins recruiting either criminals or those who have powers from all across the globe, starting with Hyperion. Yeah, and Kyle Richmond, who is also what's his fucking name? Nighthawk? Nighthawk, of course, funds the team. I am lightheaded. It took me an hour. It took me an hour and 10 minutes to read off all that shit. And I took no breaks. So this is the setting that I'm working with for like, and I might want to actually do it as a series on like YouTube or something. Maybe about Twitch. I have to work something out about that. Because we don't want to do them live. Because none of us are streamers. we wouldn't have the time or the resources to get to reliably get together every week, and film and broadcast a stream. So yeah, we're gonna be, so if we ever do end up doing D&D, it will all be pre-recorded. So yeah, that's that. I'm sorry. Thanks, Sarge. And in case you're wondering, yes, I do have plans beyond just this. I have right up to the year 3000 planned. Yeah, there's a number of characters that I also plan to introduce. Will this show up? That does not show up. Cool. Sorry, I'm looking at something here. So I have, like, in my OneNote, I have all my campaigns written and shit. So yeah, like, I have plans for introducing, like, Fantastic Four, doing more Power Rangers stuff, bringing in more X-Men stuff, more Star Trek stuff, shit like that. My throat hurts so much, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna go to standby for 2 seconds. I'm gonna go get some water, and then I'm gonna come back for, like, I don't know, another half hour, talk about shit, and then cut it there. Because I gotta be up early tomorrow. So, back in a minute. Hello, I'm back. Dude, my tailbone hurts so much. I don't know why, but I have this, like, I have a pillow on my chair because my ass hurt too much from sitting in this fucking chair. And it still hurts like shit. Oh my god. So anyway, I thought I'd talk about what like my plans were with like what the sequel campaign would be. Sorry, so. Oh god, sorry. Oh, I got air trapped in my throat. So the campaign itself would actually take place, it would start taking place around here in 2020. Preferably after all this cool shit happens. And well, also, I know I have up to 2025 written, but I want to start with 2020 because there's a few other bits of storyline that I want to do first. So it would be the characters from the previous campaign, or you know, people want to switch over to new characters. That's cool as well. I am so lightheaded, bro. Holy fuck. Oh god, sorry. Yeah, so they're meeting up with the Silver Surfer again. To explain more, to learn more about what the stones did, what happened, and thus sorry. I keep drifting off because I just realized how winded I am now from talking for that long. So their campaign would take place initially in 2020, and they'll interact with a few new things on Earth. It will like be whereas the old campaign was based purely in space, this one would be placed purely on Earth, and they'd explore various areas and meet new characters that they didn't have before. Let me just actually get over to. Yeah, so they'll interact with a few new characters as well, and then we'll jump to 2025, and then we'll continue on the campaign from there. One notable group of people that I want to bring in is I really want to bring the Fantastic Four, who have notably, despite being like a huge cornerstone of the Marvel Comics mythology for a number of years, they are not important to the films thus far. And I want to, you know, give them the weight that they deserve. So the idea is that they're part of this interstellar program in a think tank based in the Baxter Building. And alongside the, you know, Reed, Sue, Johnny, there's also characters. So it's a lot of young people, but it's also some older people as well who would be experienced in that. It would be very scientifically minded. Alistair Smythe, Michael Holt II, who would be the grandson of Mr. Terrific from the 1940s. And particle physics student Ryan Choi, who was the second Atom. And it will be their job to build interstellar travel to beat the econ. One notable part as well is that Johnny, in line with both his comic origin and what the reboot film wanted to do, he's actually an accomplished mechanic, because in the comics, Johnny was a really good mechanic. It's not talked about much anymore, but so yeah, he'd be a aerospace engineer. Jeez, I'm so tired. And Sue, I think she's overshadowed so often by Reed because like she's supposed to be a hugely intelligent person, but we've never learned what her area of study is. So I decided that whilst in Star Trek the technologies of FTL travel are are heavily based on the work of Zephram Cochrane from the year 2050. Sue would be the initial researcher and scientist who developed a lot of the theories behind that. So she's essentially the mother of FTL travel, and I think that puts her in a place where she is easily Reed's equal, as well as, you know, a number of other doctorates, because she's in Reed's family. And the whole project would be organized by Ross and Fears. Gustav Fears from the Sinister Six bullshit. I am so tired. I think I might end early. Who's texting me? Bro, I got shit. But I actually feel so... Sorry, I was caught off guard. I got paid by my old job that I stopped working for 5 to 7 months ago. Cool. Money for me. That's cool. Yeah, let's go back to this. Hi. I've done streams for 4 hours where I'm not this tired. It's been an hour and a half and I am exhausted. I didn't even do any shit in, like, any prep work or anything in this stream. I don't know, I might do another one of this where I actually, you know, do shit. So I think I might leave it there and come back again on Wednesday. Either, I don't know, Hitman or Marvel. Lego Marvel. Because I really like that. For the moment, I'm going to set up a raid. There we go. Alright, we're starting a raid. We're gonna go raid another VTuber. Yeah, 1 viewer, 2 viewers. Fallen. Let's go over there. We're done. I'm tired. Raid. Alright. I'm gonna go off now.